Seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran, Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship and business. We talk all about small business here. I'm with Get Down to Business, and I am excited to kick off our conversation today and talking about something that is so critical: effective marketing and compelling storytelling, which is now more crucial than ever. Our guest today is a true innovator in the space, and I'm excited to introduce Owen Garitty, the visionary behind FPW Media. Founded in 2013, FPW has been revolutionizing traditional marketing by putting client needs first, and has even been recognized as the Adweek fastest growing agency list, on that list multiple times. Owen's unique approach blends his passion for visual storytelling, cultivated through his photography expertise since childhood, with a keen understanding of branding and design. We're going to get into more about FPW in a little bit, but Owen Garitty, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
You bet. You founded, as I mentioned, FPW Media in 2013 with a focus on revolutionizing traditional marketing by prioritizing client needs. So what, Owen, was the core problem you saw in traditional marketing that you aimed to solve?
I remember the exact moment, actually. I was sitting in a meeting on the photography side. I'd been brought in by a client to do some photography, and we were having a meeting with them and their agency. And I remember there was like 9 people from the agency side in the meeting, and I think maybe 1 or 2 of them talked. They talked over the client a lot. They basically told the client that their ideas were not good, and that what we had created, which the client was really happy with, for whatever reason, wasn't going to be what they wanted to do. And I remember that thinking, wow, this is who's paying this agency, and they seem completely miserable with the experience. There has to be a better way to do this. And so from that, the whole idea of FPW and what we call the unagency was born.
Wild. And your background in photography fuels your passion for visual storytelling and branding. How does this visual expertise translate into the overall strategy and approach at FPW?
We think of marketing as a story, and they say a good photograph tells 1,000 words, right? That's the old adage, and that's something that I believe to be true. And so we take that approach of visual storytelling and translate it to every modality of marketing. So even though it may be a digital experience, or it may be even something as simple as a piece of giveaway, right? A pen or something. We want every single touch point that a client's customers experience to tell an evolving story across time and space.
And FPW Media, my understanding, has 3 in-house divisions: brand, films, and merchandise. How does having all 3 operations in-house contribute to clear communication and innovative solutions for your clients?
We see that as something that makes us wholly unique, and allows us to do things that others can't. Because we have those 3 divisions that work together, we're able to put things into market that are fully 360. We can have a trade show activation paired with a website, paired with a TV commercial, all done in a time frame that is hard to beat, right? And at the end of the day, time is money, and most of our clients have to get their marketing message out before a competitor, or while that message is still fresh. And so we see that being vertically integrated and horizontally integrated, right, is something that we can leverage for better outcomes for our clients.
I'm chatting with Owen Garitty from FPW Media. I could hear the passion in your voice, Owen, and greatly appreciate it. One of the things that I've seen as a huge topic right now is, of course, the 2 letters. And you know where I'm going with this. It's AI. What impact has AI had on marketing strategies, and how is it affecting marketing agencies like FPW Media?
So it's, I think, affecting every industry, right? Marketing being one that's maybe more affected than some others. We've wholly embraced AI as a tool, right? But not necessarily as a wholesale change, right? I think that we see it as something that we can leverage for better outcomes for clients. It allows us to automate processes that otherwise weren't able to be automated, and it allows us to do research at a much faster pace, right? We're able to comb through so much data that otherwise would have taken humans days, weeks, months, that can now be done in a couple of hours, right? With some great prompt engineering. But what we see is that there's this shift also that, anybody who's on Instagram right now probably can tell that half the videos that they're seeing are AI generated, right? And they feel very inauthentic. And so there starts to be this questioning of authenticity. And that's something that we're really watching from a trend perspective, because we want to make sure that our clients are presenting in the marketplace as extremely authentic and still connecting with their customer base. And that's where I think, we're really watching these trends of AI is a great tool, but if you use it in the wrong way, you can do brand damage.
Absolutely. And, it's a perfect segue into something that I know you're very passionate about. Content is key. You've said that many times before in previous discussions. In your opinion, why is content so critical for successful marketing campaigns today?
Content is everything. At the end of the day, the average American sees thousands of ads in a single day. And the only way you get somebody to connect with your ad activation, and when I say ads, I mean anything that falls under, a branding experience. The only way that somebody's going to either stop the scroll or look at your billboard or spend any amount of time on your website is if you have a story to tell them that is impactful to them, right? That is connects on some sort of emotional level. And so to us, at the end of the day, content is everything. If we're just paying to show somebody ads, but the ads aren't very good, what are we doing? What are we getting? Well, we're probably not getting much return on ad spend. And so we really look at it as, content should be something that's a cornerstone of any campaign.
Yeah, and for small business owners, which are a lot of our listeners over here, entrepreneurs that are looking to enhance their marketing, what's the one piece of advice, Owen, that you'd offer them regarding reaching the right audience for their content?
The single most important thing is to understand your audience. I think that entrepreneurs of all stripes make assumptions about who they think their customer or their audience is. And sometimes those assumptions are right and sometimes they're wrong. And so what we always talk to people about, and even if you don't have the budget to do, like a brand study or a sentiment analysis or something like that, that's a little bit more advanced, what your listeners can take away is that even just in the interactions that they have across the counter on a daily basis, you can learn a lot about who your customer is, what's important to them, what drives them. And then when you put marketing out into the world, you want to have that as front and center so that you're really speaking to the people that actually do business with you.
Amazing. And I mean, I could talk to you for hours. I'm chatting with Owen Garitty from FPW Media. I just have time for one more little topic, and that's ROI. Tracking ROI is frankly very complex. Are there any ideal ways that you found for tracking the return on investment, especially if that brand story is truly connecting and building the lasting partnerships that you're focused on?
We always think that it starts at the end, which is what is our goal, right? What is successful ROI for this campaign or for this marketing? It's not always dollar in, dollar out, right? It could be we want to build brand awareness. So we want to have the maximum amount of people in our market see our content, or it could be we want to just solely focus on dollar for dollar sales. And so we always like to start with what is the objective? So let's define ROI for this campaign, because it's not always the same thing. And then from there, let's design measurement that fits that. And the second thing I'll say to that is that a lot of these platforms that you're placing ads on are walled gardens, so to speak. They only are themselves. And so wherever possible, looking at their data and then looking at, like, say, data from your website and comparing the two to make sure that they live in the same reality, that one platform isn't saying something and the other one is saying something completely different. So we always try to get ROI data from at least two sources.
Absolutely. Again, I've been chatting with Owen Garitty from FPW Media. And Owen, the last piece of homework that I want to make sure our listeners can walk away with is getting in touch with you. How can we learn more about your agency and the important work that you're doing?
Absolutely. So we can be found on all the major social platforms at FPW Media, and then at our website, fpwmedia.com. I also have a personal website, owengaritty.com, which is owengaritty.com.
Fantastic. Owen Garitty, thank you so much for sharing your time, your expertise, and insights with our listeners. But believe it or not, listeners, we've got a lot more in store for you today on Get Down to Business. You can get on my website, syklein.com, syklein.com. If you're getting your favorite podcast app, just search for Get Down to Business. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share so you don't miss a single episode. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.